What's up, guys? It is Corey from Super Comic Guru 9000, and the action starts to pick up in my review of One Piece episode 606. So let's see. Recipe for success for good One Piece episode. Dragon, check. Sanji kicking the fuck out of Vergo's face, check. And Luffy suddenly appearing before the main villain of the arc and decking him in the stomach, check. This was a fun episode of One Piece, if I have to say so, and a lot of stuff took place in this episode, so let's just go ahead and jump right in. This episode immediately began with the G5 Marines from last week having to deal with the consequences of having to save Tashigi, and a lot of their fellow soldiers have been killed. And it looks like they're going to get a little bit of relief until all of a sudden that giant dragon shows up, and he's no longer stoned. So he's going to start getting really pissed off. And they talked about how this dragon is actually really dangerous. And it really shows it this week. Not only can it fly around really fast and breathe fire, but this thing can bite through steel. Suddenly the dragon decides to disappear, and that's when Vergo shows up. And all the Marines are really happy to see him. They see him as sort of a reinforcement, and they don't really know the real truth behind his motives, but Tashigi obviously knows what's going on, and she's in a state of complete shock as she sees him walking towards her. Then Vergo just starts going nuts left and right, taking out all the Marines with his finger pistol, just left and right, boom, boom, boom. They all try to attack him at once. It doesn't even matter. And this sort of triggers this flashback where we get to see where Smoker and Tashigi were meeting Vergo for the very first time. And he does seem like a really honorable vice admiral at the time, but obviously he puts on one hell of a facade here. And then he just proceeds to destroy all of the Marines around him who've built up this trust with him, and that makes the scene all the more emotional. And Tashigi tries she might, just isn't able to fight against Vergo properly. He uses all of his haki to sort of block all of her attacks, and then he even backhands the fuck out of her. And he's getting ready to take her out, and then all of a sudden, I thought maybe Smoker was going to show up to save the day, but it really caught me by surprise when Sanji decided to just show up out of nowhere and kick the crap out of Vergo in the face and sends him flying into this wall. And it makes a lot of sense because obviously he's a ladies' man and he doesn't want to disappoint a crying woman. So Sanji has sort of switched places with the dragon. He left Brownbeard's group and went over to Tashigi, and then the dragon went from their group to them, and it's starting to terrorize Zoro and Brownbeard and their entire group, which is mostly played for laughs. Chopper got to show off a huge set of skills this week when he ran up on that one child Mocha who's still freaking out, trying to escape the lab, because every single time she looks at, like, anybody, she sees, like, these freaky lizard heads. It's totally out of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And it's up to Chopper to sort of save the day. He uses his heavy point. And I love when Mocha looks at him for the very first time because he has this really freaky lizard face. But he's able to use his medicine on her, and it's able to almost fix her almost immediately. And he's going to get some help from her, and they're going to make their way to the biscuit room where they're going to save all of the kids. The final shot of the episode is Luffy running up this giant staircase where he runs into Smoker, and then they finally arrive at the room where Caesar Clown is. And this is a really funny scene because Luffy doesn't want to be left behind at all, and he's running really fast, and he's leaving a giant trail of fire. It's like he just freaking went back in time. It's awesome. And so he just busts into Caesar Clown's room. Caesar's like, what the hell's going on? And then Luffy just punches him right in the stomach. To be continued screen. There it is. Really nice episode. I love when they show a lot of the different things that are going on within the arc in One Piece in an episode. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's so many main characters within the Straw Hat crew that they can sort of place them in all of these different areas, and they can really kind of go crazy with it. And that can make even the smallest arc seem like something really big on the whole. So one thing that caught me by surprise, I've already mentioned it, I didn't actually think that Sanji was going to be the one who was going to be fighting Vergo. I think that's really awesome. Hopefully he doesn't just completely get his ass kicked. Hopefully he'll get a few good hits in, because Vergo's one tough motherfucker. Like, he's a really cool character. I really can't wait to see more of his abilities and what more he can do with his haki. The dragon this week, hilarious, because, you know, every time we saw it before, it was always, like, sedated and just really goofy looking. It's really surprising to see that this thing can just, like, bite through steel, no problem whatsoever. And obviously the ending bit, which is getting ready to set up, I think, a really cool looking action episode. If you guys check out the preview for the next one, it looks like it's going to be really awesome. Looks like the animation is jumped up a little bit. So I'm really looking forward till next week's episode of One Piece. But for this one this week, I still thought it was a really good episode. Definitely above average for me. It featured all of my favorite characters from the Straw Hat crew. And it had a few surprise moments like, Sanji kicking Vergo in the face. So I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. Some of the animation was just a little sloppy at some points. But that's really the only thing that I can really bring it down on this one. So another good episode of One Piece. Make sure and check it out if you're fans of the series. And if you guys did see this week's episode, make sure and let me know what you thought about it with your comments below. And you guys know the drill. Before you leave, make sure and give this video a thumbs up. It's one of the best ways to support our videos. Speaking of videos, make sure and check out some of these other videos, guys. I just did a review on Watamote, episodes 1 through 3. It's the only slice of life show that I've ever reviewed, but it's the most awkward anime I've ever seen. And if you want to hear my thoughts about it, make sure and check it out. And also, the latest review of Attack on Titan, episode 16. Really good episode that's getting ready to lead into some badass action. So make sure and check those out. Thumbs up and subscribe. We'll see you next time, guys. Super Comic Guru 9000. Out.